able to get everyone to work together. If you don't have a culture built around that, it's going to be hard to get it to work right. So in instances where people were the teams worked very well together, we had good management. In the situation where the teams did not work very well, they weren't very functional, management was not very involved. So leadership is definitely required. And then the leader must have a vision for the team, be engaged, and support them as needed. Now, when we go back to healthcare one more time here, we did a study 2 years ago, asking people in a similar conference like this, what were the biggest challenges they faced in implementing healthcare analytics? And most people want to say, oh, it's the data, it's the technology, the talent, all this kind of stuff. Not even close. The top challenge they came up with was leadership. Okay, 29%. Versus the next biggest one was data management at 18%. Now that would be considered, and statistically, that's considered a slam dunk, a kickoff return for a touchdown, the Bears winning Super Bowl. I'll say that they say win some games. I'll say the Bears winning a Super Bowl again. Hole in one, all those kind of sports analogies you can come up with. That's what it's like. All right, that's huge, and that includes things like lack of direction, lack of vision, but also include things like who owns the data. Where's the data housed, and so forth. Those are leadership issues. I was in a conference last month speaking about a similar topic, and the lady was saying, well, we built this analytics function, and no one is engaged with it. And I said, well, did you have people engage with it from the beginning? Those people you're trying to build this for, were they engaged from the beginning? No. I said, well, that's why you're not engaged. Your leader has to make sure everyone's engaged and working together, or else it's not going to be successful in the long run. So you don't want to end up like Jimmy Water and without a good leader, and screaming like that. So reason leadership is important again. You have cross-departmental solutions that need the cross-departmental work. Need sufficient resources. And not just financially, you need the right people on the team. You got to get them to work together. And you can be from the other departments. Some industries are more siloed than others. So if you don't get them to work together, you're not going to be able to get the data the way it needs to be done. And leadership, again, is probably the most important of all the attributes. It makes everything else happen. So some of the caveats of building a data science team, a science time team, is organizational readiness. And you make sure you have the right skills, job requirements, and have a strong, cohesive team. Now, I don't know if you saw the presentation by the professor from the University of Chicago yesterday about readiness and stuff. This is very similar to what she was talking about. We always do a readiness assessment, but just understand if your leadership readiness, process readiness, personnel readiness. Do you have a leader who's been experienced in driving these kind of projects before? And I tell people, don't give me the yes or no answers. I want to know, prove it. Okay? Tell me, if you say you can do it, wherever you've done, show me how you've done that before in the past. Process readiness. You have the right process in place, because that's one of the big impediments to implementing a lot of technological solutions. If you don't have the right process in place, people are going to rebel against it. Personnel readiness, making sure they're recording the right information at the right time or by the right people. Technology, and the technology and data is actually the easy parts of it, actually. If you get the rest of it right on the top, the bottom part is actually usually fall in place a lot easier. With the technology, make sure you have the right technology to do the project with, and the right data. Now, sometimes the data is going to have to come from outside the organization. You may need some third-party data, but a lot of times you can use your own data, do what you need to do with it. Skills needed. You have to make sure you have do an inventory of what you have, what you might need. Do you have a data analyst already? Do you have business analysts? You might need a modeler or two. Most companies have programmers on staff already. You may have to hire or train someone to be a visualization specialist for you, that kind of stuff. And hopefully, if you have an organization, you already have a subject matter expert inside. If not, I don't know how you're surviving. Okay? And then job requirements. I was asked by Microsoft a few years ago to help them put together their first global analytics department. And one of the things we had to do was put together job descriptions, career paths, and organizational structure. And looked at a lot of different job descriptions for the position we knew that needed to be in there, and it was, it's funny, a lot of times these job descriptions are like a laundry list. They want everything. They want, things that don't exist. So I said to people, leave the laundry list at home. Put in realistic skill requirements. Has anyone here ever seen a purple squirrel? Something in the cartoons or anything like that? Well, that was a term that was coined back in the recession days when people had these long job descriptions and trying to find people saying they can't find anyone to fill these jobs, all these openings. Well, even though the overall unemployment rate was maybe around 8% at the time, when you look at professionals, especially looking at technical people, the unemployment rate is only like 2 or 3%. So they were trying to find people who were already happily employed somewhere else and putting out these long laundry lists and saying, I can't find anybody. So the author coined this term, looking for the purple squirrel, which doesn't exist. Or like it could be a unicorn, it could be any kind of number of things it could be, right? So, if you're going to put together a job description, put together something that's reasonable. I remember reading a job description once before, back in the mid-90s, when they were saying they want somebody with 10 years of e-commerce experience. Well, e-commerce wasn't around 10 years before that, so having that was impossible. Analyze large amounts of data and solve world hunger before lunchtime. That's kind of unreasonable, kind of hard to do. So the point is, when you're looking for start looking for people to fill these positions, make sure you use reasonable job descriptions.